Hello, this is Pär from Sabaton and you're listening to metalstorm.net.
A couple more days left on the tour, I believe 3. How has the tour been going so far?
The tour has been going absolutely great. We have been, I mean, it's luckily it's a perfect combination of bands. First of all, there's Revamp, and that's a great band, but Sabaton and Iced Earth go so well together. It's excellent combination of the music, and we're also great friends, every band on this tour, so it's so smooth and simple. And the attendance on this tour has been great, so it's like this has been our biggest tour so far in the States. We're very happy for it.
The new album, I think yesterday or well, it came out today in Sweden, but yesterday you guys released it on Spotify. What are the responses so far from your fans?
Well, we released the album actually today in Sweden, and it was absolutely great to see. I spent the whole night sitting up and just following the response, what was going on, and seeing the album and the new songs reach a #1 position in just a few moments. That was amazing to see, and then to follow the feedback of the fans. What was going on tonight was crazy. I couldn't fall asleep until we ended up in a way where there was no internet connection anymore, and I was like, ah! So I realized, okay, I have to go to sleep for a few minutes, and then I went back, wake up, give me internet and let me check what's going on. And yeah, the feedback is amazing. I'm so proud of the new album, and I'm so happy to see that the fans also appreciate it.
Now, Heroes was the first album that Joachim wrote for new members. Was the pressure on for him to show the fans also that this is good old Sabaton?
Well, I mean, yeah, some people had no clue that, I mean, behind Sabaton was me and Joachim. I was doing all the business and Joachim was doing the music, and together we write the lyrics and the concept of the band. So a lot of people thought, okay, you're losing 4 members, you're gonna lose a lot of your identity, but it wasn't anything in there. The identity lied always in Joachim and me, and I say that our producer Peter Tektgren has more to do with how Sabaton sounds than any old band member. So we were never afraid about that. We were afraid though that if the album wouldn't come out good, a lot of people would blame us because they don't know this. Obviously, not everybody can follow all the details about a band. It's impossible. Most of the fans are just there to listen to the music and not interested in details, and I appreciate that. It's normal.
So the pressure was, did he feel the pressure of this?
We all felt the pressure highly, and we knew that, okay, if we don't make this one really good, we're gonna get blamed. But yeah, we're not afraid anymore.
Now, it's been 2 years with the new members, except Hannes on drums. Have you seen the difference with the new guys in the studio as well as live performances?
Oh yeah, I mean, not to say anything bad about my old band members, but the way it works is like, okay, when we started the band 15 years ago, we weren't, you know, the most talented guys in town. We were just happy amateurs playing music, and we got a little bit better over the years. But when we suddenly were looking for new band members, we weren't looking at happy amateurs anymore. We were the biggest band in Sweden. We could ask anybody, and most people would say yes, because what we could offer was an amazing live. So it wasn't difficult for us to find new members. We didn't need to audition for guitar players at all, and that was not necessary at all. We asked our best friend, who is like an amazingly great person who can play the guitar. That's how we got their numbers. We didn't need to do any auditions. We just met for a couple of beers, and then that was it. You're in the band. You're a cool guy. We're gonna get along. So that was easy, and that's why when we came to the studio, that was so easy, because having, for example, with the guitars, 2 of Sweden's top names in guitar playing, it's all the guitars were done in 4 days instead of 4 weeks. That's the difference.
Now, was Hannes your first choice as a drummer because he was with you guys before, or? Yeah,
I mean, we always liked Hannes since the first time we met him. we never thought of him. We never saw him as a potential drummer.
Because he was tagging for Snowy?
Yeah, he was the drum tech for Snowy. He was filling in for a while, and at one time he was just like, well, if you need it, I will play the drums. And we're like, yeah, for sure you can. We know already that you are an amazing drummer, so let's just see how it works with our songs. And you know, he didn't need to rehearse because he had been touring with us, so he knew the songs, and he just played a few songs and like, sounds great, you're in.
Are you guys ever gonna get a live keyboard player?
I don't think so. We are not looking for a keyboard player. If we find somebody who we believe can bring something more to the band, then we will consider it, absolutely. But for the moment it works so fine, and I don't know, the chemistry in the band is perfected now. We feel everything is great. To change something in that, I'm not sure if it would be a wise decision. And I mean, most bands today, they have something put on tracks, and if we put keyboards on the tracks, it helps us, because no keyboard player can play all that anyway. There is more than just one a pair of hands can play. You're gonna need 3 pair of hands to play some of our songs. So actually, even if we get a keyboard player, we're gonna need pre-recorded keyboards to be able to perform it the way that the songs were written. So in one way, I mean, this sounds better, and it's very easy. It's a guarantee for the fans it's gonna get a good show.
Now this Heroes, the album Heroes, concentrate more on individual people instead of a whole event. Was it harder to research and come up with the lyrics than it was on other albums?
It wasn't really harder in any way. It's certain things, no matter if it would be one person or a whole event. Certain things are just more popular than others to read about, and you can find more information. And I guess that's general about everything that goes with history. Some events are more known than others, and maybe because somebody made a movie or a song in the past and made people more interested and do more research and put into the enormous database of information that exists of books and documentaries and internet and wherever. And so some of them are difficult to find and some are not. But for sure, to do the concept Heroes wouldn't be possible to do anything else than around World War II. Would we back off 50 years back in time, there wouldn't be records, there wouldn't be anything saying precise this was happening to this specific person. I guess that's one of the big lessons learned during World War I, to keep record of what's going on. Like, you just don't send millions of people out without knowing who they were.
Yeah, true. Now, once again, you guys were in Abyss Studios. You guys been with Peter and crew for the last couple albums, or maybe all of your albums?
We worked with Peter and Tommy since the beginning. They are right. 2 brothers. Yeah.
Now with the changes in members in the band, have you ever considered going somewhere else to shake it up, or was that never on the table?
Well, I mean, there's an old saying which works pretty well: if it ain't broke, why fix it? Fix it, right. But yeah, sure, we want to try something new, but on the other hand, we feel obligations towards our fans, and they are more important than what we think. And sure, there will always be some know-how to media or people or other bands who will say, you don't change enough, or you don't do that, you sound like the same. But all in all, that's what the fans want. If you fall in love with something, you want it to stay that way. You want to feel the same thing through your entire life. It's the way it's supposed to be. When things change, you change.
Because you just said change. Upon first listening of the album, when I first listened at it, a couple songs I had the vibe were a little harder, were maybe a different Sabaton feel that we are accustomed to. Was that conscious, or did it just come because of the content of the album?
No, it comes because we always, on every album, we have some songs which is like trying something new, to open something. Like this would be the room of Sabaton. And for every album, the room grows, because we're opening one new door and trying to see what's behind it. And if that is something that the fans appreciate, we can bring it in as an element into the big room and make that room bigger. I think that, and we have seen that it works even when we do like big sidestep and open new doors. Our fans appreciate that. So I think that if you ask me, in 20 years, there will be so much, the room will be huge, and there will be so much different things within. So Sabaton, you could never tell that it sounds like this, or these are the kind of songs that Sabaton writes.
Circling back to Peter, I saw an interview, and I think it was with Joachim, where he said that Peter this time pushed him to 100% as far as the way he sings. And this is something too that I noticed right away, first listening of the album. Some of the pronunciations of the words and lyrics that Joachim is singing is more pronounced, more.
Yeah, I mean, here is a thing. Imagine that we suddenly had 3 weeks more to record an album than we were planning for, basically, or at least 2 weeks. What do we do with it? Well, we spend it on the vocals to perfect them. So Joachim and Peter had so much time on this album to work on the vocals, and you can hear it. If you're listening, I can hear it totally, that it's the best vocal performance ever of Joachim. But it's also doesn't necessarily, I mean, Peter pushed him, but he pushed him also on Carolus Rex. So I wouldn't say that's the reason. I would say time. Time is a very important factor. And imagine that this is 10 songs on the album. On Carolus Rex, it was 2 different. It was Swedish and it was English, and it was more tracks. And so it's a double amount that needs to be sung in lesser time. That's tougher.
True. Odds and ends real quick. Have you listened to the Civil War album?
Yes, of course I have. Definitely I've listened to Civil War album. I mean, they're from our hometown, they're all friends of us, and so I follow them, and I was really happy when I heard the album. I wasn't impressed when I heard the first EP, but the album was a really big step up, so yeah.
Once again with Heroes, you released alternate album covers.
Yes.
What is the feedback you have gotten from fans or media about which cover they prefer?
I say on this one, it's basically 50-50 between the requests of what people want when it comes to in terms of album artworks. In some territories, like unfortunately America, there's only one version available. But in Europe, you can decide which one you want to buy.
Oh, nice.
And I like it that way. Usually, the limited editions have different artworks, and I came up with the idea because I don't like that some bands give out, oh, this is the standard CD and this is the limited edition, and people say, what's the difference between them? This one has a bonus song recorded in some basement 3 years ago. Well, it's not really, it doesn't look like exclusive limited edition. We put a little bit extra effort into it, making the different artwork and stuff.
Times when I hear it on interviews is that a dream of you guys would be to play on Normandy Beach on D-Day. Of course, this year it's not going to be possible. Do you think, now that you guys mentioned it so many times, that a promoter will pick up on it or say, hey, yes, let's make this happen, 2015 or whatnot ever? Have you heard anything about somebody saying, yeah, I'm working on that? Or what's...
Well, France is one of the countries where Sabaton has not broken through in Europe yet, so still it's a long way to go. Actually, it does happen sometimes when we talk about things, that things actually come to be that way. And when we did, for example, this is a very good example of it, which will happen in just a few weeks, because when we did Carolus Rex album, the last song is about basically when the king Carolus Rex dies. He dies in Norway, in a place called Halden, or Fredrikshald at that time. And it is in Norway, and it's a fortress. and we said, okay, wouldn't it be amazing to play there, play the entire album, and end it where basically the Swedish Empire whole story ended at that place. And we talked about it a lot. I contacted the venue, or it isn't a venue, it's a fortress. I contacted them and they were like, sounds interesting, but we're not gonna do it. But later a promoter contacts me and says, I want to do it, let's do it. And now we will do it this summer.
Nice, nice. Sabaton cruise. You guys had the Sabaton cruise since 2010 and it was sold out every year. And that Sabaton open air that you have this August, is that August, right?
Yes,
August.
it's August. Yeah.
Is that something different? Is that land-based this time? And can you tell us more about it?
Well, we do have two special events for Sabaton. One is the Sabaton cruise. That one has been sold out since the first year. It goes like, the tickets goes directly. It's a 2,000 people cruise between Sweden and Finland. And it's an amazing atmosphere.
And you're gonna do it this year again?
We're gonna do it again. We just haven't got the date out yet.
Okay.
But that is a very special thing because Sabaton plays, it's just Sabaton, nothing more happening basically. And we're playing 2 shows in one night. And there is, we can play for all night if you want. I mean, we can play all the songs we ever, because there's no times. We decide everything. We rented the whole ship. We decide every rule, and we play as much as we can. And it's very intimate because there's no stage set. There's no backdrops. There's nothing. It's just the band and the crowd.
Oh.
And everybody on that ship is a die-hard Sabaton fan who know every song by the heart. So it's amazing. That's what we do in the winter. In the summer, we're doing the Sabaton Festival, the Sabaton Open Air. We have been doing this since 2008, and it's growing for every year. Now it's a 3-day open air event.
And Testament is on it, right?
Testament is playing. We have had several international bands over the years, and we are usually inviting friends of us and tour mates and stuff and bands we like. That's what's placed there. And we have fans from something like 30 different countries coming every year. And the fan clubs from different countries are gathering there, making big parties every night. It's something unbelievable. The atmosphere there is absolutely great. And it's the opposite of the cruise, because on this show we can put everything in. We can do what we cannot do anywhere else. It's our big stage, it's our production. We can do what we want and nobody's gonna, say anything to it. So if we want to have a fireworks that you can see until the next city, we put it on. And if we want to have a cinematic movie or something, we can do it.
Oh.
There is no limits for the production of that show. And this year we are doing the entire album Carolus Rex completely in Swedish. And what we're planning is actors and to reenact the entire event.
Nice, nice, cool. So, like I said, I'm in the Ice Doors tour, a couple more days. What's for Sabaton after the Ice Doors tour?
Well, we got a few more days on this tour, and then we're heading back to Europe. After a shorter promotion trip in Sweden, some TV performance, radios and signings, acoustic shows and stuff, we're starting the summer, which we're playing a lot of shows every weekend.
You do the summer festival rounds?
Yeah, we got like 25 summer festivals in, 15 countries or something. So we're flying a lot and we're traveling a lot. It's an interesting logistic problem, but it's gonna be great. And then we are ending the summer with doing the biggest Sabaton headline tour we've ever done in Sweden, where we decided this year not to play in venues or arenas or clubs. We're building our own venues, outdoors, in castles, fortresses, legendary locations, battlefields and stuff like that, and doing it really big style. That would be amazing. After that, we're coming back to the States.
And for that you were just saying, people can check that out on your homepage and on
everything,
Facebook,
everything. And we're updating our Facebook pretty often, and our website is going through a lot of changes these days and should be totally fine in a few days.
Okay. Last words to your fans?
Well, I say thanks to everybody who show up on this tour, and don't worry, there's gonna be more. We're coming back in the autumn.
Thank you.
Thank you.